I always wanted a model kit when I was growing up, specifically the mecha model kits, but being from a working class family, my parents couldn't buy it. Plus they saw how many pieces it comes with to assemble, especially being a choking hazard for a kid like me, hence why my parents opted to get me Legos and Mega Blocks. This whole mecha fever was probably fueled by the shows I watched at the time like Gundam Wing, Transformers Armada, and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Sadly at the time, in my limited knowledge, I never had a chance to play the mecha games that were out this time. It wasn't until Smash Bros. Melee where I got a trophy for Array Mark 1 that I got introduced to a little known Nintendo series known as Custom Robo 64. I still couldn't get my hands on the game because of course no money, and I still don't know how to import Japanese games. Thankfully emulators were a thing. I didn't understand jack shit because it was all Japanese, but it was pretty simple to understand how the game works. But it still crosses my mind why this game was never released in the first place. It's kinda hard to pinpoint exact reasons to why this game was never released, but I found some articles and sales to figure out the reason why the game was never released. An IGN article points out that the game is intended for a Japanese audience, specifically for the little boys collecting and customizing their toys. While one could speculate that mecha games don't sell well in the USA, it seems to be hard to find some evidence besides VG charts, which is known to be inaccurate. But through various accounts, the Armored Core series did better in Japan than it did in the US, and Daemon X Machina is getting a lot more support in Japan and the West. I want my Nirvash DLC Marvelous, give it to me now! Unless there is official data, it is only up to speculation at this point to why the game was not sold in the US. Maybe we could speculate that Nintendo was making another custom Robo game for the GameCube and didn't want to bring the N64 version stateside as usual. I mean, in the previous other videos, that seems to be the reason half of the time why Nintendo didn't bring games over. But that reason falls apart really quickly because the game came out in 1999 while the GameCube was released 2 years later. Now we can go all day on the reasons why this game was never released, but one question we need to know is how good the game is. Custom Robo is a battle action game where you customize your robots to your heart's content. That is simply one way to explain it, but there's more to this game. More of the game is done through story mode, which is where you get most if not all the parts for your toy robots in this game. It starts off with your character receiving a custom robo named Ray. Immediately you are thrust into the battle world known as the Holosseum. At the start of battle, the players fire their robots off of cannons which can be targeted anywhere on their arena. Robots are kept in queues when they are fired off, and each face of said die has a body part. This is important because this determines how easy or difficult it is to mobilize your robot. For example, if it lands on heads, it will take a while for your robot to activate it since its head is stuck on the ground, hence why it's preferred for the dice to land on the feet. Moving your robot is really responsive paired with the smooth 60 FPS. Actions done on the controller are pinpoint accurate. The analog stick does all the movement obviously, while the A button fires off your main weapon. The B button fires off your secondary weapons, usually a grenade. The Z button fires off shoulder cannons, and the R button activates your jetpack, which makes quick getaways from attacks. The C buttons, surprisingly enough, are used in this game, which is used for close quarters combat. This game pits you with many opponents after another, each with an increasing variation of difficulty depending how you customize your robot. Robot customization is a big aspect about this game and should be considered depending on the robots you are going against. Parts can vary from having a spread shot, heat-seeking missiles, and multi-missiles. Parts can affect your robot too, some by giving you more defense at the cost of speed or vice versa, while some can handle certain types of weapons than others. There's an infinite amount of customizations to do with your robot, it is insane. So by all means, customize to your heart's content. I will go into the nitty gritty of this game, but this is a short video, not an actual JuggzMcGee review. With that being said, this is Jugz signing off, and see ya with the final video in this year's JuggzMas.